longest running daily radio show, all about the topic. Well, you guessed it, it's real estate. My name is Eric Willner. I am your host. We are live Monday through Friday from 8 until 8:30 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. We are here on our local AM station where we began this journey 20 years ago, 21 years ago, as a matter of fact, last April. And we're also on FM 96.9, also on 95.3 and 103.9, all on the FM dial. Now you can take us with you on the go. All you have to do is download one of the free apps, the TuneIn app, the popular iHeartRadio app, and just search for WWNN 1470. That's WWNN. Look for that on any of those apps on your phone. You can take us with you. And of course, where all things lead to is our website. It's also streamed live there at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Just go to the top of the page there. You can listen to us live streaming between 8 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can download any of the iPod versions or the podcast versions so that you can take it with you. And then you can also listen to a whole host of the archives there. Every single show going back over 10 years, believe it or not, is still up on that website. So lots of resources, so much information. If you never went anywhere else, you would learn a ton of information. But we're always bringing to you a very wide range of information. And of course, on our Mondays, we try to set up the agenda for the week. And we kind of have been talking about the whole, the steps or the stages where everyone is when it comes to real estate. It all starts out with the curiosity, and a lot of people are very curious about real estate and they're interested in real estate, but it's not until they get interested enough to get the education first that they start up that gradual ladder, that path. And then you got to figure out, do I have, the income that it takes? Maybe you need it, maybe you don't. Do I have the down payment that it takes? Maybe you need it, maybe you don't. Different styles of real estate require different things. Maybe I have the credit that it takes. Maybe you don't. That's all part of the first step of just assessing what you have and where you're at, to eventually going up and taking care and having access to each one of those things. And then comes the job of protecting what you've got. So we're going to talk about that whole array of things and each individual component thereof. So what I did is on Friday, if you were with us on Friday, we had a very interesting show, not only kind of wrapping up the week, but we also introduced one of my returning friends here on the radio show, a leader in the real estate business, over 40 years in this business, educating from coast to coast across the country, tons of great course material, and just the quality of what it is just phenomenal. From the forms, there's nobody got a forms library like this gentleman does, and no one is specialized in some very special areas. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well today. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest today. I believe that Lou's on the line. Yeah, baby, that's another signature there. So you here there is my friend Lou Brown, who is, like I said, he's an educator, really an icon in the real estate business, and continues, through, I don't know how many cycles you have been. I don't know if you keep count, Lou, or whether you've lost count. Fifth real estate cycle. So now, do you keep count? Are they scars? Are they tattoos? Or how do you keep track?
Opportunity that is delivered like it was by plan, which if we get into that conspiracy
I will tell you it's absolutely my plan, and and it's predictable. So when we know something is predictable, we can definitely attune ourselves to take advantage of it.
And that's the nice thing. And even if they're not completely predictable down to the years, they certainly do come in cycles. And it's not if, it's always a question of when. So that kind of begs the question, so what do I do about it?
Well, I think, if you're planning to play the game long term, which is definitely my strategy. And when I got into this game full time, it was in 1983, and I bought already my first property. I bought it when I was 18 years old, and then I had gone to work for a company. Then I went out as an entrepreneur. I bought a business. I bought it with seller financing. The seller carried back financing, literally bought an up and running business, started operating it with my wife and another couple. And then we had another baby while we had this 24-hour, 7-day-a-week business, it seemed like, and we had the opportunity to sell it to our partners on seller financing. So as a result of not only buying on seller financing, but on selling on seller financing, I was able to create an income stream for my wife and I and family. And then that gave me the impetus and the foundation, so to speak, of being able to look at going full-time in real estate. So 1983 was when I went full-time in real estate, and it's the best decision I ever made. But all of us have to think ahead. And I definitely began learning some things about what to do and how to do it at that time. And one of the foundational pieces that I think a lot of people miss, they think about estate planning, think about asset protection, but they always think about it later, usually after you already have assets and after you have a pile of stuff to have to deal with. That's when people start thinking about, well, I really ought to put myself in a position to protect my assets. Well, I say that the smart money is on getting a foundation at the beginning. And if you buy right, if you buy cheap, and if you're purchasing the properties by putting them into trust. Now that is my chosen entity. That's the entity that I've found that has the absolute best return on investment, return on energy, return on future, being able to pass assets from generation to generation without having to go through probate. I mean, there's just an incredible number of benefits that come with using trusts. And so foundationally, and knowing that there's going to be cycles, knowing that there's going to be opportunities, when everybody's kind of starting with that in mind, then they're also putting themselves in a position that they're not having to restart or have their own personal cycle, Eric. You don't want to have your own personal downturn that could have been avoided, and lawsuits and things that come out of the blue are definitely things that can happen. It's apart from economic downturns.
Well, things do happen, and there are predictable things, and then there are unpredictable things, things such as, death, divorce, disease. And so you're right. You got to prepare yourself, because you don't want to have to keep creating what you earned with all of that extra effort. So how do you do that? It kind of create a ratchet effect. Number one, I used to kid around with that there are barbarians out there. There are people in the old days. We used to build moats around our castles to keep the barbarians out, because they came with arrows and stones and slings. Today, there still are barbarians, but they come after you with pens and lawyers.
It's so true, Eric. Here's the opportunity, and I think everyone owes it to themselves actually educate themselves on this very topic, because in the United States of America, it is so easy for someone to sue, and it is so cheap to sue here. It's ridiculous. Somebody come after you, spend a couple of $100s and come after you for no good reason. They literally case against you. However, that doesn't mean you can't be sued. And so as a result of starting an action, and by the way, they don't have to have a lawyer, but most of the time they do have a lawyer. And so what's the lawyer looking for? The lawyer's looking for the deep pocket. Now, how does the lawyer identify the deep pockets? They go on public record, literally type in your name and see what you own. Now, the great benefit of the thing that I talk about trust is the fact that you do not have to have your name on public record. So as a result, you could have 100 properties. Each property could be in its own trust, and you could be the beneficiary, but that's not published on public record. So the beneficiary is a private matter. It's not known to the public. It's not known to the county clerk at the county courthouse. It's not known to the attorney that may be looking in to see if you own anything. It's not known to the attorney looking at the address of a property to determine who owns that property. They might see the name of a trust, but they might see that that trust doesn't own anything else. You see, that's my suggestion to everyone, is that you have each property in its own trust with a different name. So as a result of managing those trusts, and that's what your job is, you actually manage those assets. As a result of doing that, you've established yourself in a way that people cannot be those barbarians at the gate, as you said. They can't really identify you as a fat, juicy, low-hanging fruit target. And that is what they're looking for. Those types of people are looking for the easy pickings. And my advice is, don't become the easy pickings. Do some things to remove yourself from that line of fire, that line of attack.
So we're up against the middle of the program here, and what we're going to do is take a quick break. When we come back, I want to go into a couple of details, some of the things that our audience can do right now. But obviously, in a show that's 30 minutes long, we're not going to be able to get into all of the knowledge that there is about trust, but we're going to talk about how you can get that knowledge. So you're definitely going to want to stick with us here through the rest of the program. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. I'm here with my very special guest and friend, Lou Brown, an icon in the real estate business. Don't touch that dial, because we got a lot more for you as soon as we come back. We got a nice little crowd going on here on the, and I appreciate when you guys give me the feedback. So I heard about the, well, first of all, thank you for the compliment on the nice green shirt. I figured that was a great way to start off the week, nice and green. And then there was a buzzing sound that you guys reported. Is that still going on? I hope it isn't. And yeah, when I first logged in, I was in my headphones with Lou to make sure that we had the solid connection. But then I brought it over so that those on YouTube and those on Facebook could hear the audio as well. So that's what you're hearing there in the background. So here we go. We got John. John, are you back from Orlando? Or are you still on assignment in Orlando? And we got Marianne over there in Tampa, Brian Luttrell in Southern California. All good now. Good. So the sound is good and everything else is good there too. I had Cindy from Jacksonville earlier there. Then we got the other Cindy from California, also from Southern California. So we got two Southern Californians, a West Floridian, a South Floridian. I'm very excited for this week. We've got a lot. Tomorrow we will have a return of the foreclosure man. We're getting the foundation built, and as much information out to you guys for the upcoming. Now, I was going to go into some of the latest happenings on Friday with the executive order by President Trump, the restoration of the unemployment benefits, the extension of the eviction protection. relief on student loans. That was a new one and a big one. So we're coming back now, so I'm going to have to switch back over there. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
77.79. Now back to today's show.
And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. And our goal here is to educate and to bring to you the information that otherwise many Americans don't get. There's so much information out there on the internet trying to figure out what's real, what's not real, what's good, what's past, what's outdated information. You know, there's still a lot of people talking about things that they did back in the 80s. And I'll tell you that the market is very different today than it is. And those of you who are looking at the wave going on in the marketplace thinking that we're going to have a repeat of 2008, well, we may have some distressed times, but I'll tell you, it's not going to be a repeat of 2008. It's going to be different this time. The banks are different. The market is different, and things are different. So that's another reason why I wanted to have Lou come on to our radio show today to talk about, you know, how do we protect? Because, you know, we're in so many crosswinds. We're in political crosswinds. We're in economic crosswinds. We're in real estate and inflationary crosswinds. We don't know whether we're inflationary, possibly deflationary times. And what you have to do is that as you build, you know, whatever you're building, you got to protect it. So Lou, let's talk a little bit about things. You know, when real estate investors first start out, most real estate investors are introduced to what, you know, I would call one of the simplest of the trusts, which is like the land trust.
The land trust is an awesome vehicle for most people. Most people who, let's say they have their own single family house, they have vehicles that, you know, they just have the standard American dream. And they even should have and use the land trust because it's simple to start. It's easy to operate. You get it started, sort of like the deed to your house. Once you got the deed to your house, put a copy of it in your file cabinet and you forgot about it. The trust can work exactly the same way. Trust has a 20-year lifespan, so you do have to extend it after 20 years or at the 20-year mark. You have to extend it another 20 years. But basically, it's pretty much set it and forget it plan. And it's so critical because anything that happens during that 20-year span, you pass away, it passes to your heirs without probate. It doesn't have to go through the pain, suffering, expense, delay of a typical probate or the breakdowns in the family. You've already decided who you want to get the asset. It's already named inside the trust. And so that's one of the things I do in my class is you bring a deed to class, and in class, you literally fill out paperwork so you're understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how to do exactly what's necessary so that you don't make mistakes and turn the apple cart upside down.
That's, you know, and that's important. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention is that a full class on this. You know, Lou was just saying that when he does this class, which by the way, he only does one time per year. So this is the one time in 2020. It will not be given again until at least 2021. And in the class, it's a very hands-on, practical. Bring your stuff, bring your situation, and you'll be able to discuss it. If you want to look at it from the point of view of being of talking to a lawyer, which Lou is not, I'm not giving legal information here, but the information, the practical, what someone would do in that situation, the value of that is priceless. Because, you know, we're talking about, how many days is this, Lou?
Well, it's a 4-day event. So literally, we're going to start on Thursday morning, and they're not short days either. We don't have two-hour breaks for lunch and end early. We have long and encouraging days, because one of the things that happens, it's very exciting. You wouldn't imagine that trust can actually be entertaining, but I will tell you that I have people in stitches the whole time. People absolutely love the event and they rave about it because of the fact that I'm coming from the real world point of view. Like you said, I've been doing this thing for over 40 years. And so as a result of owning property that long, I've seen a lot of things. And you were talking earlier about the headwinds. And one of the most important headwinds is legal headwinds.
Yeah.
Where happens is that the legal system in this country, we would like to believe that it's fair and honest and just. And the truth of the matter is it's not. You've got different levels of judges. You've got different levels of attorneys on each side. You've got the different experience levels, and you've got different pocketbooks. And so it depends on how deep your pocketbook is, the level of quality of attorney you might get. You might get, as they say, they miss deadlines, they make mistakes, they forget to bring things up. They are a disaster. I'm speaking after 40 years of experience of dealing with attorneys and dealing with many of them over spans. I've done over 1,000 real estate transactions, and I've seen some horrible legal work. And anybody who's been around for a while knows what I'm talking about. And so the thing is that my philosophy is, let's not get sued in the first place. Let's not get sued in the first place. And the way you keep from being sued is to not appear to own anything on public record. So it makes it very simple and easy for you to fly under the radar, own a lot of assets, and not be exposed on public record, because that's exactly where the predators are looking. So you keep yourself out of those legal headwinds and the possibilities of losing. One of the stories I tell is that if you ask a good gray-haired lawyer, what do you think of the system? And they say, well, 50% of the cases I thought I should have won, I lost. And 50% of the cases I thought I should have lost, I won. So if you like those odds, keep playing that game. But a better game is to get your name off public record and not assign it to somebody else to do for you, but actually this is the arena of your life that you need to understand exactly what's going on, why you're doing it, what you're doing. And so that's the reason, even though I have a home study course, even though people have been using it for decades, what I discovered is through demand is my customers said, look, Lou, we love the stuff that you've done, but we want you to do a live course. So I agreed to do one per year where all of my students and all the buyers of my home study course could actually hear me teaching it for the full 4 days. And we go to, now this is the deep dive here. This is not a superficial conversation about what you ought to do. This is the deep dive. This is what it is. This is how it works. And this is how you do it. And we're literally going to do this together in class. And then you get an autofill bonus at the end where you literally fill out one page and it automatically fills out all of your paperwork. But I feel comfortable giving that to people that have graduated the class because they already know what to do, how to do it, and what lines mean what, and who to choose as trustee, who to choose as successor trustee, who to choose as beneficiary, who to choose as successor beneficiaries, what assets, what to name the trust. There's many different aspects of how to protect your assets that are so important for people to learn.
Let's see, I'm actually floored because I didn't know that at the end you get this program that autofills and creates trust documents for you. That, my friend, is priceless.
Where, baby?
That is priceless, and to have that tool is amazing. So let's tell our audience how they can attend, because it's only a few short days away. Now, the beautiful thing is that thanks to the pandemic, this is being done virtual. So you don't have to book last-minute hotels, book last-minute airfare. In fact, who wants to get into an airplane right now? This is accessible, and the way to find out how can someone get more information online?
The thing to do, Eric, is to go to Maximum. So think a lot. maximum asset. Think about your assets, your home, your cars. Think about your stocks, bonds, mutual funds, bank account, everything in your life. Shield. Think about a shield of armor against those barbarians that you were talking about. So maximum asset shield.com/Eric. And that will get you the open door to the discounted pricing. It'll also give you a very extensive explanation of what's included in the package and the training. And we're definitely going to be deep diving here. This is not going to be playtime. In fact, we're going to have a preview event on Wednesday night and get everybody geared up for their technology, the side of the, consuming this information from home and what we're doing to help that process. Now, we will have folks that have been using My Trust for years. They're actually going to be there answering questions, supporting you in the implementation, in addition to me being the trainer over that period of time. We're going to have a tax expert, a CPA master. It's going to give you all the information. It's MaximumAssetShield.com/Eric.
All right, Lou, as you can hear the music, they're kicking us out, but we're going to move on and we'll be back again, same place, same time tomorrow. Lou, again, thanks for bringing your expertise and your knowledge. We'll be talking more about that over the rest of the week. But for now, that's it for it. This is Eric Willner signing off. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Until tomorrow, drive safe, wash those hands, and God bless America.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show.